Hey everybody, my name's Kyle, and this is the Untypical Heroes! I'm excited! We're playing 4 Shenanigans. This is a cartoonish Dark Souls tabletop role-playing game. And we got Andi. She's a stand-up comic. She just grabbed her backpack. She escaped from the Toon Square, where all kinds of chaos and mayhem was breaking loose. The Govna came to town with his Toon squad. They started rounding up the new Toons, blaming them for the lack of Loonium in the area and the deaths of Toons and the murders of Toons that are coming along with it. Andi swore a vow to... Let me see. Andi swore a vow to Kylo, one of her new Toon friends. Kylo's brother, Kylo, got taken by the Toon squad, tossed in a van, and shipped away to nobody knows where. But Andi vowed that she would get him back, that she would find Kylo's brother and then make them pay for taking him. So she's on a quest right now to do that. She's also on her own kind of personal quest. She's trying to figure out what is going on, right? Like what is happening to the Loonium and these individuals. But she knows now that it's probably a bit deeper than just surface level. So she makes her way through the woods. She finds this cabin. She's hit with like an influx of Loonium, right? She's got double the amount of Loonium that her normal capacity would allow her to have. And she's greeted very politely by Gary, right? You know, he pointed a sword at her as soon as he opened the door and started yelling at her. And then this old man right here told Gary to stand down, and Gary listened, right? Like pretty quickly. He sat down, he shut up. And there's 2 other individuals, and these individuals are all sitting down in this cabin. And this elderly man says, "Andi, we've been expecting you." She's a little bit confused, but she comes in and she sits down because her old friend, Old Man Kylan's, told her to seek out this cabin. And she says that. She goes, "Did you know Old Man Kylan's?" And this elderly individual who looks like a turtle, whose name also happens to be Turtle, he says, "Yes, Old Man Kylan's and I used to adventure together quite frequently." And he's like, "Wait, what?" She's like, "You used to go on adventures with Old Man Kylan's? Are you kidding me? This dude who yells at people for throwing balls in his yard and can't stand up straight. You used to go on adventures." And Turtle explains that, they were Toonomancers. They were individuals who could harness actively the Loonium in the world to bend it to their very whims. And then he says, "I know what a Toonomancer was. I've heard all those fairy tales before." He says, "It's not a fairy tale." And he points at her and he says, "And you are also a Toonomancer." And she is laughing in his face at that. She goes, "Oh, okay, big guy, I'm a Toonomancer." And Gary, Superdu, and Sir Camisiparus Lasoniana, who doesn't do nicknames, all look at her and they say, "Yeah, you are." Sir Camisiparus Lasoniana didn't want to believe it either. He wanted to believe that as a prank soldier on the front line of many wars, including the War of the Hooligans, that it was his extensive training and combat knowledge that allowed him to survive those wars and, lead his men to victory. But, thinking back and having Turtle explain it to him, he knows that there were some incredibly lucky and potentially unnatural things that he did, and he got out of some jams that he shouldn't have been able to get out of. The injuries that he sustained, the scars that he has to prove it, he says, it's likely that I probably was, a Toonomancer. I am a Toonomancer. I was manipulating the Loonium in order to help me survive and get through those things. Superdu's not just incredibly strong just because that tremendous strength comes from his ability to harness Loonium, and that's how he chooses to use it. And Gary is an unrivaled fencer. The technical skill and prowess and accuracy that he has is inhuman and in tune and in frog and unbelievable in and of itself. And he knows that the hours and hours that he trained probably aren't enough to get that type of incredible reflex and skill. And Andi knows that this charm isn't just randomly associated with her. She knows that it's probably unnatural too. She has the ability to harness Loonium to find out what makes people tick and what makes them laugh. And she never misses a joke, except for the times when she does. So Turtle explains this to her. He explains what a Toonomancer is and the importance of them, and that they're less and less in the world because of individuals like the Govna who fear them and the power that they have. He said that new Toons like yourself are also dangerous because you guys come with, new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things. You challenge authority. You don't just blindly accept it. And again, that's one of the most fearful things to individuals like the Govna. And she says, where'd they take Kylo? He says, there's only one place I can think of. The Hyqueous Vaults. Oh, it's way over there. It's so far over. I pulled 11 muscles getting it. He said the Hyqueous Vaults is the one place that he can think of. And he explains what the Hyqueous Vaults are very quickly, right? He says many years ago, the Toonomancers discovered the Hyqueous Vaults, this cliffside complex. And he said that they investigated them because there was a rift deep in the vaults, and that rift is where Loonium was seeping into this world from. They realized the power that it had, and they wanted to study it. They wanted to protect it so that these powers didn't fall into the wrong hands. And he said that he feels that there's something amiss. There's something imbalanced now in those Hyqueous Vaults. As he says this, he goes to a cabinet and he pulls out this large chest, this wooden chest with dust on it, and he slams it down. He says, I hoped I wouldn't have to use this again. And he clicks it and he opens it. Andy's kind of backing up like, what are you doing, creep? Like, what do you not want to use? And he pulls out this large cloth that's obviously covering something fairly heavy. He's struggling to lift it up. Super Duke comes over. He goes, I'll take that. Right? I'll help you with that, sir. And he grabs it and he lifts it up. They take the cloth off of it, and the cloth has a map on the other side. And he reveals a prime rod and goes on to explain what it is. Here's our prime rod again. Our beautiful Kingdom Hearts looking device. Put Super Dude there. I like him there. I like him on the left side better. And he goes on to explain that a prime rod, this device right here, it's about arm's length, made out of an iron, maybe an iron alloy type material. He said that a prime rod has these multiple geometric shapes, and that each of the shapes has various functions. He said, I'm not going to bother explaining it to you because as you wield it, it's going to lend itself to you. It's going to emphatically support its owner's thoughts at how to use it. He says one of the uses that we've discovered from it is that you can use it to light and unlight spectral candles, things that can allow you and other objects to kind of fade in and out of tangibleness. You can become intangible or tangible. And he said, but as soon as you lose this prime rod and its abilities, whatever the abilities are, it is going to crumble to dust. He said you can also use it to harm undead things and ghost-like apparitions, which you're going to need when you head to the Hyqueous Vaults. He says, follow this map. It'll lead you there. Stay together. He says, and the prime rod could very well be our answer to what's causing this, right? Find the rift, figure out what they've done to it, what's happening to it, and see if we can bring balance. Bring balance to the Force, right? Now, Andi has to find her brother, and she's got to make them pay, the individuals who took it. The other individuals, we're going to say Sir Camisiparus Lawsoniana is the one who he puts his hand on his heart, and he vows this oath. Where did we put our rules? There they are. Found them. He's going to vow this oath. He's going to accept this quest. And here it is. I'm going to say that this is... Man, it's probably critical too. I'm going to say that this is critical and challenging. 10 boxes. So that's Andi for us right there. And then this is Sir Camisiparus Lawsoniana. And although he doesn't do nicknames, Kyle does, because SCL, that is a lot to write. It took me a long time to spell that, and it's not getting any easier anytime soon. So he's accepted a quest, right? And his quest is going to be to find the rift, to find and heal the Loonium Rift in the Hyqueous Vaults. And that's going to be a challenging and critical task. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll kind of split it down the middle there. Maybe I should have done 2 rows, but either way. Now we're going to roll presence. If it's someone you've bonded with, minus 1d for the roll. I'm going to say he hasn't bonded with him. I'm going to say Cercamicypris lawsoniana is maybe, a little bit harsh, I guess, in his demeanor. So maybe he didn't form a bond with Turtle. Turtle is hopeful, but, it is what it is. So what are we rolling? Presence. His presence is a D12, and it looks like he probably could have used that bond. And he rolls a 4 on it, okay? Now, on a D12, a 4 I don't think is going to be a strong hit, and no, it's not. It's a weak hit. So on a weak hit, you start with more questions than answers, take +1 stamina, and envision how to move forward, or call to the void. So we start with more questions than answers, which makes sense because Turtle is giving them a pretty quick overview here and sending them on the way. So Cercamicypris lawsoniana gets the party together. He just assumes that he's going to be the leader. Superdo is totally fine with that. And then Gary's a little bit off-put, right? Gary wanted to be the leader. So we can see that there's some tension already between these two individuals. Andi is just excited to be going on a quest right now. She's got some pretty cool people. Superdo, you can't ask for a better individual than a childhood superhero to go on an adventure with. And so they get some rations. Superdo takes quite a bit of rations from Turtle, and then they head off in search of these Hyqueous Vaults. Now they've got a map, and they've got a good sense of where to go and how to go. So they're going to adventure off. And as they do that, we're going to get back to Mibs. It's been a while, Mibs. Hope you are fully rested. I hope so, right? Mibs. Last time we saw Mibs, he was handling some water flicks. He was handling them. I don't know if he was handling them really or not, but he survived them, right? He got through it. He's a survivor. You don't become one of the oldest Toons without having your wits about you. Mibs just ran away from some water flicks. He just I keep wanting to say scaled this wall. He didn't scale this wall, but he kind of slid along the side of it, right? I don't know what that word would be. He shimmied the wall. He shimmied the wall, and then he found a staircase, a dark staircase. Now, Mibs has some glow gel rubbed on his arms and on his forehead that provides some light that allows him to see, and he's able to get up these stairs. As he's walking up these stairs, he gets to Area 46. In Area 46, we have the etched hallway. There's a north wall relief of laborers transporting bodies wrapped in fabric eastward and barrels and crates westward. Now, he doesn't want to go eastward because that's where the eel-men are. So westward looks pretty good. Plus, crates, he can assume, means supplies, and he is low on that right now. Now, we had a couple of dungeon turns before. We had a turn for combat, a turn for him moving. This is going to be another turn that he's spending now investigating. And essentially, when we have a turn in the dungeon, what we're going to do is describe a scene. We're going to declare our actions. We're going to resolve our actions. We're going to lose resources, and then we're going to check for encounters as need be. The Hyqueous Vaults tells us right here, here's our Hyqueous Vaults, to check for an encounter every 3 turns, of which this is 1. And then our dungeon turn sequence here, we get from Cairn's 2nd edition. There's a lot of different dungeon turn sequences that you can use. This gives some structure and procedure to your game, which just helps with everything, essentially. Okay? You can get that from anywhere. So we're on our 3rd turn in the dungeon right now, which means we're going to check at the end of this turn for an encounter, right? So the scene we just described, it's this etched hallway. What's his action? His action is going to be to look at and investigate this. He's going to investigate this etching. He knows, he's an old Toon, that there's probably something hidden in here if he can just look at it. Now, he doesn't have a ton of time because, again, he's got some eel-men that are cheering and jeering for Kyle getting dissolved by this big ooze that we saw last time we visited Mibs. So he doesn't have time, so he's going to search and he's going to investigate. We're going to roll intellect. And his intellect is a D10. So let's go ahead and let's roll this D10. Here it is. Where's our D10 at? Right here. We're going to roll our D10. And he's going to get a 4, right? A 4 on a D10 is a weak hit, and that's okay. So on a weak hit, what you discover twists things or uncovers a new threat. New threat sounds pretty good to me because we're going to roll on an encounter. Honestly, I might not even have to roll on the encounter because we could just, instead of rolling to see if we get an encounter, we can just say that the new threat is the encounter. So I think I might do that. That's cool. It says envision what it is, take +1 stamina. I'm liking that because Mibs needs that stamina. So now he's at 2. And then what we discover twists things a bit or uncovers a new threat. So he does discover something, right? He's going to notice that in this relief, there's a small trigger, and he's going to push or pull on that trigger. He pushes it, he clicks it, and there's a relief that comes out, and it opens. Right, there was a chest on the etched hallway, and it opens up, and then inside it he sees another prime rod. Right, he gets this big prime rod and he pulls it out again, arm's length. It's kind of heavy, right? It's dusty in there. And there was a second object in there. It says it's a magic user scroll. Would he find both of those? I feel like finding both of those would have been a strong hit because it says you discover something insanely helpful. I'm gonna say he just finds the prime rod, and as he finds the prime rod, there's other stuff in there, and he doesn't have time to get it because the door behind him in area, where is it, 45, clicks open. And he sees light coming out from it, and he gets kind of hit with the smell coming from it. And you can smell it. Smells like sulfurous, kind of like burning flesh, and it's just kind of grotesque. He kind of has to hold himself back a little bit from retching and making a loud noise. And that doesn't give him time to continue reaching in there and see what else it is, right? He slams it shut, clicks it. He takes the prime rod, tucks it in his belt really quickly, and then he darts down this hallway, right? And he's going to try and run down this hallway, and there's another door there that he's going to try and book through before whatever is in this room comes out, because it's probably not going to be a good thing for him. So we've declared the action, we resolved the action, loss of resources. The only resource that he has that he's losing right now is his glow gel. He's down another turn. Each of these glow gels has 6 turns of light, and this is still pretty good for him. And then we don't need to do the encounter check because we're in the encounter right now. We said there was a new threat discovered. The new threat is the door opening. And on the other side of that door, where are we right now? On the other side of that door, area 45, were 4 eel-men. Okay, there's stuff in the door. We don't care what's in the door because he's not going in there, but 4 eel-men are coming out. Okay? And as they come out, we need to figure out, first of all, are they surprised? Is Mibs surprised? Mibs is caught off guard a little bit, but he knows, like, hey, something's opening this door. Now, they don't know that he's in the hallway, or do they? Let's check really quickly, because we got an easy way to solve for that. We've got our void, our odds chart here. I'm going to say it's 50-50, right? On a 51 or higher, yes, they are surprised, okay? Like, they don't know that he is in the hallway. 51 or higher, they do not know that Mibs is in the hallway. And we got a 31. So no, they're not surprised. They know he's in there. They open the door, and the reason they open the door is because they have a very strong sense of smell. They're not super intelligent, they're incredibly aggressive, and they can smell really, really well. So they said, right over the smell of the burning flesh in that room, they're like, something is in that hallway, right? And they're excited. They're like, oh, did the other eel-men bring us a snack? And they open the door and they see Mibs immediately. Okay? Now, we get in combat, one of the things that we want to do is figure out what's the distance between the individuals. And in this case, it's pretty much they're on them, right? They open the door. Now, it's a thin doorway. 4 eel-men aren't going to be able to all get through this doorway together. So one of them steps out, and there's 3 other ones behind him. And he starts hissing, and he's angry, and his claws come out, and his teeth come out. And they look and smell just as gross as you would expect. And yeah, we're in a combat right now. Mibs just cannot catch a break, okay? So first thing, when we enter combat, what's the difficulty of the opposition? We're going to say that these are person-sized, and we're going to say that they're dumb, right? Because it told us that they are. Okay, the eel-men are of low intelligence. Now, we don't like the word dumb, sentient, genius, so we're going to say it's easy, medium, hard. So they're person-sized, and they're an easy foe. So they're worth 1 health each and 1 zany gem. And there are 4 of these bad boys. So we have eel-men. There are 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are each worth 1 zany gem. 1 experience point if you can defeat them. So let's roll off. Let's see what we got here. When we roll off, we are going to use any one of our stats. In this case, and I think I drew up an eel-man. There they are. Oh yeah, we came prepared this time. We got an eel-man. I'm gonna say he's gonna use. I'm gonna say he's gonna use power because he's gonna try and run right through them, and he's gonna try and lower his shoulder and burst through that wooden door that is on the opposite side of the hall. So let's roll power. He's got a D6 here. Let's roll this bad boy. And he got a 5. 5 on a D6 is looking like it's going to be a weak hit for us on a D6. So on a weak hit, ready yourself +2 stamina or take initiative. Okay. Let's load up. Let's load up on our stamina right here. So +2 is going to get us to our max. We're at 3 right now. So Mibs has 3 total stamina, but it's not his turn, right? It's not his turn. So he's starting off on the back foot. We're going to roll an uh-oh. Yeah. So we've got an uh-oh. Actually, do we not have it, right? On a strong hit, +2 stamina, you have initiative. On a weak hit, choose 1, +2 stamina. Yeah, I'm going to say that we didn't act. We didn't take the initiative. So the foe has the initiative. Uh-oh. Okay. We're fighting up close. It's an endurance roll. One of these eel-men is able to get out of the door, and he's slashing at him. Okay. So is he able to endure this? His endurance is going to be a D12. Let's roll it. He rolls a 4. 4 is going to be a weak hit on a D12. A 4 is going to be a weak hit. Yeah. So it says you find an opening. We can choose one. Inflict 1 health of damage. I'm going to say that that's it, right? He inflicts 1 health of damage. Okay. He pulls out his crowbar and he, boom, takes a whack right at the eel. The eel-man falls to the ground. He knocks one of them out. Another eel-man comes through the door, right? Another one kind of squishes through, and they're kind of starting to get ready to surround him right now. And this is making quite a bit of noise, so it would be reasonable to say that the eel-men at the beach, or these eel-men, are actually going to be starting to signal to those eel-men at the beach. They're going to be screeching and screaming, and, hey, guys, get over here, right? So he doesn't have long before he's getting totally swarmed, and then things are definitely not going to be good for him. We still have to pay a cost. Okay, we inflicted 1 health of damage, and we have to pay a cost. That sucks. I think that the cost is going to be 1 health. I think one of these eel that comes to the side of us is going to scratch us on the arm. When they scratch us on the arm, we go down to 1 health now. So Mibs is in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. Once per combat, once per fight, we can risk it all. We're going to turn the tables. Okay, we are going to turn the tables. We're going to risk it all. We're going to steal initiative, and we're going to make a move. When we do, take -1d to the roll, +1 stamina on a hit. This is it. This is the end all be all. Okay, are we going to be able to do this? So, are we going to be able to do this? Okay, we are in a pretty rough way right now, and if we can't make this, we are in trouble. We are in dire consequences. Let's go ahead. Let's roll for it. Let's do this. Let's make a move. The move he's going to make is to face adversity. And if memory serves correctly, Mibs has been pretty okay at this. Okay, we're going to do power again. We're going to try and push through. He's going to drop his shoulder. He's going to run through a couple of these eel-men. He's going to try and knock his way through that door. So we're going to do a power roll, -1d to the roll. So instead of a D6, it's going to be a D4. And he rolls a 1. And he rolls a 1. Do we have a stamina to undo that roll? We do. Let's go down to 2 stamina. Let's try and do this one more time. Come on, Mibs. You can do this for us. And it's another 1. And I'm going to say that that's it. Lights out. Okay, so Mibs tries to make his way through this eel brigade that's coming. Where is it? He tries to turn the tables. On a miss, the consequences are much more severe. As he drops his shoulder and he runs through, the eel-man grabs him. He bites, and another one comes behind him, and he bites. And then the eel-men from the beach come flailing in, and he just gets swarmed, and his health goes down to 0, and Mibs is dead. Okay? The eel-men overpower him. They knock him to the ground. They start eating him, and it is absolutely horrific. It's horrible. And that is a sad note to end on. Mibs getting eaten by the eel-men in Area 46. But nevertheless, we got to end, okay? if you liked that, which I don't know why you would, you sadistic people. But if you like that, go ahead and on the bottom of this video, you can go ahead and